Come on, don't be like that. This is your time to shine.
There comes a time when I go to watch a movie without any expectations, and somehow the movie fails and succeeds at meeting them. Dangerous Animals is an Australian film written by nobody and directed by a guy who hasn't done a movie in 10 years. It stars a girl who was on Yellowstone and Captain Boomerang from Suicide Squad. Tourists Greg and Heather embark on an adventure to Tucker's Experience, a shark cage diving attraction operated by the quirky and unsettling boat captain Tucker. As they head out into the open ocean, Tucker recounts a traumatic childhood encounter. He survived a shark attack that left him scarred both physically and emotionally, permanently altering his perspective on sharks. After Greg and Heather complete their cage dive, the outing takes a horrifying turn when Tucker suddenly murders Greg and abducts Heather. Meanwhile, on the Gold Coast, an American drifter named Zephyr begrudgingly assists local real estate agent Moses in jump-starting his stalled car. The two strike up an easy rapport over their shared love of surfing and end up spending the night together. After they sleep together in Zephyr's van, Moses wakes up to make her breakfast when she quietly slips away during the night to catch the waves alone. At the beach, she encounters Tucker, who promptly abducts her as well. When Moses returns to the beach the next morning, he finds Zephyr gone without a trace. Zephyr regains consciousness chained to a bed in a small room where Heather is also being held captive. It becomes clear that the two women are imprisoned aboard Tucker's boat. Zephyr learns that she's not the first to be taken. Tucker has done this before to other women. Despite her efforts, she fails to unlock her restraints. Later that night, Tucker drugs both women. They awaken groggy and disoriented on the deck of the boat. Zephyr is bound to a chair, helplessly watching as Heather is lifted into the air by a harness and dangled over bloodied waters teeming with sharks drawn in by chum. Tucker sets up an old camera to record the horrific scene as Heather is lowered into the water and torn apart by the feeding frenzy. It becomes horrifyingly clear that Tucker is a serial killer who stages and films shark attacks on unsuspecting tourists. The following day, Zephyr's van is towed from the beach parking lot, prompting Moses to become increasingly suspicious of her disappearance. As Zephyr searches for another way to escape, she breaks free from the room, only to be caught again after a struggle in which she throws Tucker's camera overboard. Enraged by the loss of his footage, Tucker docks his boat and heads ashore to buy a new camera. At the same time, Moses spots Tucker's van on CCTV footage from the beach where Zephyr vanished. He heads to the marina and sneaks aboard Tucker's boat, unaware that Tucker is still on land. Following the sound of Zephyr's screams, he locates her and urges him to call the police. Before he can escape, Tucker returns and attacks him. During the struggle, Moses is knocked unconscious by Tucker's neighbor Dave, who, unbeknownst to him, has been directing tourists to Tucker's business without any idea of the gruesome murders taking place. Upon hearing Zephyr's cries, Dave becomes alarmed, and Tucker kills him on the spot. Tucker takes the boat back out to sea, this time hoisting Moses into the harness. Recalling Zephyr's advice, Moses remains perfectly still and manages to avoid triggering the sharks.
Okay.
Tucker, determined to provoke an attack, stabs Moses repeatedly in the stomach to release blood into the water. Just as things escalate, a lifeguard helicopter flies overhead, forcing Tucker to pull Moses back into the boat and wait for the coast to clear. As Tucker lies in wait, Zephyr makes another desperate escape attempt, this time biting off her own thumb to free herself. She confronts Tucker once again, but is subdued and drugged during the fight. In a final act of desperation, Zephyr leaps into the ocean and swims toward the shoreline where a wedding reception is being held. Unfortunately, Tucker pursues her in a dinghy and recaptures her before she can reach safety. I'm not going to spoil the ending in case there's anybody watching this that wants to see the movie, but it's pretty dumb and convenient, which takes away from the gravity of the situation and makes the final ending's payoff not very good. It's hard for me to really say much about this movie other than it's just a pretty average movie. There's nothing too awful about it except the event that leads to the ending, but there's nothing also that great either. Everything is just okay. Tonally, it's pretty inconsistent, with scenes of comedy that aren't especially funny to downright gruesome displays of self-harm. Captain Boomerang gives the best performance while everybody else just kind of does what they're told, which is more of a critique against the directing. You can tell this guy hasn't done anything in 10 years because nothing seems very inspired. All of the shots are pretty basic and uncreative, with the only standout being a focus on the sharks swimming around an observation cage in the opening scene with a pretty nice music bed. The story is very just bland. There are quite a few plot contrivances and inconsistencies. Zephyr as a character is kind of a bitch when you first see her, so it makes the tender moments she's supposed to have with Moses fall flat. We never get a really good moment to go, I like this girl. It's just, well, she's the main character, so I guess I'm interested to see how she's going to survive. The movie does a good job of showing she's resourceful, except in the beginning where she needs to steal a specific tool from Captain Boomerang, and willful, especially when she decides she needs to bite off her own thumb to escape her handcuff. The character of Tucker is pretty interesting. He possesses an almost religious awe of sharks and convinces himself that he is one based on his injuries and understanding of the animal. He views other people as food, especially fish, and calls Zephyr a marlin because she's a fighter and he's had to struggle the most with her. Part of his ritual is taking a piece of the victim's hair and making a lure out of it that he then sticks to the box containing that victim's tape. It's all interesting groundwork, but we're never given a reason for it. We don't know why he thinks he has to videotape each victim on a fresh tape or why it even has to be on VHS. It just does. If you're into shark movies and want to watch something with an interesting take on the genre, I guess I'd recommend watching it. But there's really not much else here that's very entertaining. There's no real tension or suspense. The horror is supposed to come from Tucker's menacing presence as a serial killer and the sharks ripping bodies to shreds, but it's just not there. If you happen to catch this on streaming, you might enjoy it. Otherwise, there are better movies to see in theaters. Thanks for watching the video. If you like it, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, I'd love a like on the video and a sub to the channel. If you didn't like it, thanks for watching this long anyway, and I'll see you on the next one.